Charlie and myself, we thought, imagine bringing an old player like that in. And what people didn't realise, I was older than Jock. An old guy like that, bringing him in. He was with Albion Rovers, Jock, and I think he went down to England. Played with, I forget now, the man who kicks in the head. Just forget what team it was. I think it was a Welsh team. They brought him back anyway. Celtic signed him. It was a great signing. Not known as a player, good centre half. But very intelligent when it came to football. And later on, of course, I don't have to tell you how Jock succeeded in football. He was very, very good at the game, very good at relating the game to young players. It's easy, always easy to understand. But that was Jock.
And
Miss him.
And it was a true story that you were offered, or that you were going to be the manager, and the plan was for you to be the manager and Jock to be the assistant.
That's right.
And Jock, obviously...
He wasn't happy about that.
So...
Was that it?
You thought for the sake of Celtic it was better off?
Well, it was better off Jock coming in, yeah. And he made me his assistant. And we worked together well, which was important. There got to be no animosity between manager and assistant manager. You talk about things and you do what's best for the club, not for yourself, which is so important. And that was important for Celtic. And you're doing it for Celtic, you're doing it for the supporters.
And we talk about doing it for the supporters. The 7-1 game that you played in.
I did, aye.
That was not the greatest time for Celtic.
No.
But that game was a great relief for the fans.
Well, they needed something like that to give them a lift, because Celtic supporters are very faithful. And we weren't doing too well at all, and we're all getting a bit on the old side. And that's why we're all delighted, really, to give them a result like that. No one would ever dream, that you could go down the field there and... Was it Rangers we beat?
Yep, Rangers.
I think it was Rangers.
Yeah, it was Rangers, yeah.
I think I forget. Celtic 7, Rangers 1. And you weren't expecting that, to be honest, No way, because Rangers were a good side. But we felt that the spectators, we need to give them something. And we couldn't give them anything better than that.
No.
Beating Rangers 7-1.
I can imagine the green half.
Totally unexpected,
I can imagine the green half of Glasgow have been in to work with smiles on their faces on the Monday morning.
Absolutely. And they needed something like that to give them a lift, because they'd been so faithful to the club. And we weren't doing well, but they were still there.
Yeah.
Which is so important.
And you were telling me a story before we started about how you became a member of Pollock Golf Course. Would you like to tell?
What's the Stones again?
Willie Waddle.
Deedle. That recommended me. He proposed me for membership. And I remember asking him, saying, no problem, Sean. So the I only stipulate you don't kick someone. Remember us as golf you're playing, not football. But Deedle and I people didn't realise how friendly we were off the field. And it wasn't easy to get into Pollock Golf Club, and I applied, and Deedle proposed me. No problem, straight in. And we're great friends. We played hard against each other. But we weren't playing football, we're very, very good friends. Unfortunately, spectators, they don't realise that, they think we're enemies,
It's always the case. And we've got to bring up 1967. It must have been one of the happiest days, certainly the happiest day in Celtic's history. Against Inter Milan, Heleno Herrera, the manager,
yeah.
obviously the golden era for them.
That's right.
How did you did you fancy your chances at all? Was it
Well, you've got to be, to fancy your chances, you've got to be confident. And that's very important. And any players with experience, it's up to them to instill confidence with lads who are just into the team. And you can never, instill as much confidence as one would like. But strangely enough, we went out that day and we're full of confidence. And that's so important in football. But needless to say, we never dreamt we'd get a result like we did. And we're pleased, we're delighted. But we're more delighted for the people who had been supporting us all the time.
And I heard the first victory was you winning the right dugout. Inter Milan had sat on Celtic's dugout and you'd chased them away.
That's right. The one that I once said, get the hell out of here, Always chased them out at the dugout, all right.
And that was 1-0 Celtic straight away.
They tried to take over actually, but we weren't having it. That actually happened.
And I've been told that it was yourself and Billy McNeil that actually went up to get the trophy. It was nobody else could go. It was too crowded.
That's right. I went up with Billy. I remember that.
And it must have been
that was on film actually.
There must have been some sight to see the trophy finally.
Oh, it was fun.
Must have been some sight to see the trophy finally.
Delighted. Absolutely. We're all delighted. We're delighted. Delighted for the support more than anything, because they'd been so loyal to the club, because they'd been in and out, and not consistent. But so we gave them something to dream about. And we were delighted. As I say, delighted for ourselves, but more delighted for them.
And not a lot of people realise that you brought in quite a few legends yourself. You brought in Ronnie Simpson.
I did.
Fantastic goalkeeper.
I did. Great keeper, Ronnie. And he instilled what's more important. He made other players better players. He instilled confidence in them. And that's so important. If a goalkeeper, if you're confident in your goalkeeper, a lot of balls you leave to him. And I would say that Ronnie was a very good signing. People thought he was finished at the time. But the older he got, the better he got. He could read situations very well and use the ball. The goalkeepers at that time, good goalkeepers, once they had the ball in their hands, they just didn't kick it up the field. They used it for one of their players to try and build from the back, which is so important.
And another one was that you convinced Kenny Dalglish to sign for Celtic.
I did. I got Kenny. That was a good signing. Better signing than people realised, because Kenny was a great player, great skill on the ball, and always wanted to win, which is so important. And players, you got to have confidence, and more so in yourself. Kenny was very confident in his own ability, and I was delighted for him. And I signed him from what's this? Pollock. Was it Pollock on the
Boys Club?
Boys Club.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Pollock Juniors.
I think it was Pollock, yeah. I remember going down to see him play, and he's a good signing. Great player, great professional. A very good professional. Nice boy. And you're always pleased, to see nice lads getting on. And he certainly did. And spectators loved him. So that was Kenny.
And after you left Celtic, you became manager of Dumbarton.
I did.
And you got into the newspapers by trying to sign Johan Cruyff.
Aye, well, I had to try something. Needless to say, I don't want to believe it or not, but it wasn't right,
But you tried.
I tried.
You got a trip.
I got a trip out of it, which was nice.
And
trip, and
it was closer than people might have thought?
I spoke to him, but no. I did actually speak to him. Not at the papers. Well, there was I don't know, there was a newspaper man with us. I forget now, it's so long.
But you
But
did speak to him, and
I did talk to him. Nice man.
He has now heard of Dumbarton.
No. Nice man. Lovely man. Yeah, but he gave me, the fact that he gave me time to talk to me was in itself something, you know, which made me admire him all the more.
Yeah. And do you still watch Celtic today? Do you still see them on the telly?
Oh, yeah. Always watch Celtic.
You still follow them? Yeah.
Well, I was always a Celtic man. Always a Celtic man. My dad, and he got wounded, badly wounded, dum-dums. The Turks used them. Forget that battle that was. However, what? Gallipoli. Well done, Pat. And the dum-dums, the Turks was there, and they used dum-dums. And that's the way he was right in there it went. And he was in hospital, attending hospital in Glasgow. And during intervals, getting out of hospital, he used to go and see Celtic. And of course, he was Celtic through and through, and I became the same. He's always talking about Celtic, you know. Celtic Football Club, because they used to do a lot for charity at that time. I think they still do, at least I hope they do.
Yeah, they still do.
Aye,
They're very well known for that charity.
Well, that's very important. That made us pretty close to them. That they look after people who are not as well off as they are themselves, and are ill and some way of helping them.
It's good to know they've always had that rich tradition.
Very, very important. That tradition was still there.
Yep.
It's still there, that tradition. So there we are, my son.
You've discussed how you started following Celtic through your dad. What was it like to play for Celtic in your first game? Were you nervous? Were you...
No, I was playing well. I come from Northern Ireland, went down to Northern Ireland. Thought there was a better chance going down there. And so you'd be more realistic now if I went down the north. As much easier chance of being selected by Celtic or being picked up by Celtic. And as it turned out, I went down, played with Glenavon. I was selected to play for the Irish League. That was the Irish League, Northern Irish League and League of Ireland.
Yeah.
And after that, I was approached by Celtic, and of course I jumped at it, because that was me realising a dream. And I'd have time for nothing. Because there's good stories about them. He used to help people, you know. And quite a lot of stories was quite true. They did help a lot of people, poor people. And that influenced me very much indeed.
So that's how that relationship began between yourself and Jock.
That's
before managing, assistant managing, and when you were playing, you picked him to be the captain that replaced you when you were injured?
Correct. I did that. But my best pal was Bertie Peacock. And Charlie up to a point. But you could never depend on Charlie. He sat on the ball and all they were afraid to go near him. He's up to one of his tricks. We're playing Rangers, so he actually sat on the ball, you know. Oh, he's some boy, Charlie. Played to the crowd, you know, but he's good skill, great skill. But could have been better. But I think all ball players are like that, you know. Depend on their skills rather than the physique.
But why did you pick Jock? What was it? Why did you pick Jock to take over?
I knew it was a good choice. I knew he knew the game from A to Z. Because he always spoke a lot of sense when he was talking about football when we were related. We used to talk about good players we're going to be playing against and any weakness that was in their team. And Jock could pick them out just like that. He's very quick and his knowledge of the game was absolutely 100%. So I realised, a lot of players realised that. And that was the reason I selected him. And I left my closest pal, my closest pal. We're all pals, all friends. Jock and I was pretty close. He reciprocated then when did he reciprocate? Not in the Scottish team, because he couldn't do that with an Irishman. But he's very close. Any games he went to see, and even when he was in Scotland, he used to bring me along with him. So there you are.
So there was a lot of trust between you?
No, that's very important in football. Very, very important. There's a lot of trust, especially if you're number 2. No point in you going round running down number 1. You can't do that, It wouldn't be nice, and sometimes maybe there was a little bit of weakness there, but there was never any weakness in Jock. Jock was absolutely 100% entitled to be manager of Celtic, because he knew the game from A to Z. No one could fault him. Could be contrary at times, with players, but sometimes you had to be contrary with players.
But then would that be your job to help them out? If Jock was a bad guy, you
absolutely,
used to put your arm around the shoulders?
Yeah. That's why he selected me as his assistant. He felt I would be useful to him in a lot of ways. But I would go along the straight path he has made for himself and any of the players. And there's no way I had any doubts about Jock. He's a first class manager, absolutely. Could pick out the weaknesses any teams we played. Now, needless to say, that's what you play on, weaknesses. You look for them. If they're there, you'll work on them. He's very good at that, which is so important. And that's very important. Anyone who manages football, you got to know what you're saying to your players and telling them, if you see a weakness, emphasise that fact to them on the field. It's up to them on the field then to play against the weakness.
And last question, would you change anything now? Or are you absolutely delighted that you made that decision to sign for Celtic?
I was very pleased. It was a dream of mine to sign for Celtic, because I told you about my dad being wounded, during a series of operations he had on his shoulder. He used to go and see Celtic. Plus the fact Brother Walford was involved there. And I was an ex-Maris boy myself. I was educated by the Maris brothers. So it all fell in line. So there was no possible reason why I should go to any other club. No, none. So Celtic was the club, was a dream, and very few people realise a dream. And I realised the dream of playing for Celtic. That was my dream, a dream realised. If I was ever writing a book, I would say, a dream realised. Big black letters.